Well, the increase in liability is $4 billion. Now, most of that is currently held by EQC as financial assets. We will have to expense that. So if you think of it this way, our budget for the last financial year ending June is $2.7 billion ahead of budget, and so we'll lose that gain, and then it'll be another $1.3 billion on top of that. So our deficit will go from, it was 16.7, it was headed for 14, but now it's going to be 18.
So is there any money at all left in EQC?
As of today, yes. This is an estimate of their future liability, but we would expect, as a result of this estimate, that the natural disaster fund will go to zero and possibly beyond that, triggering the Crown guarantee.
Right, so beyond that, if this comes to pass, if you have another event, the Crown's got to pay.
That's right.
There's no money in
well, there's further reinsurance, and EQC can give you the details of that because the arrangements are a bit more complex over the next 12 months. There's further reinsurance, but any further EQC liability would then be picked up directly by the Crown because the natural disaster fund is likely to disappear.
So are you going to have to change your policy and perhaps increase levies or introduce a special levy of any sort to start building up reserves into that natural disaster fund?
Well, we'll consider the policy about EQC over the next wee while, but we're not looking to make changes now. We want to make sure we focus on meeting the existing liabilities as quickly and effectively as possible.
When are the new levies be set?
Oh, we haven't considered that in any detail.
But beforehand, you were talking about obviously going up. Does this significantly change your thinking from just a few months ago in terms of levy setting?
Look, we haven't considered that in detail. I mean, there's a significant issue that the National Natural Disaster Fund, which was $6 billion, I think, just 12 months ago, in another couple of years will be down to zero, and we'll have to rethink EQC, but we're not setting out on that path right now.
If EQC's liabilities have more than doubled, does there need to be another assessment of other liabilities that the government might face and council might face? Might we also see those substantially blow out?
Well, in both, any estimate is just an estimate. So the Crown, of course, will be assessing its own, damage property by property. The council, I presume, will be doing the same, and the private insurers doing the same. So this is a re-estimate just of EQC's liability. It's an indication that, in general, the February quake in particular caused more damage than was previously thought.
What might that mean for AMI?
Well, they'll be working through their own estimates, and they'll be reporting to government when they've got more and better information.
Would you be expecting more bad news for the government out of that?
Well, as I said before, I think this shows that February earthquake in particular caused more damage than we thought. And as all the insurers work through their individual assessments, that'll probably become apparent, including in AMI's case.
In terms of any subsequent event, what is the excess, if you like, for the reinsurance concern, which I understand now will have to be met by the government itself rather than EQC through the insurance?
Best to get EQC to deal directly with the questions on reinsurance.
Effectively, the natural disaster fund is at zero today, isn't it? Because it may technically be at zero in 2 years, but that money is committed, isn't it? So
That's right, it's all committed to this event, and if there are further events, the cost of those will be picked up directly by the Crown and the reinsurers.
Are you going to have to make changes to your other fiscal policy and spending priorities, as we saw last budget, in order to cope with this new situation?
We don't see a need to change the operating expenditure track. I mean, we made significant decisions in the last budget we will stick to those. You need to see this in the context of the broader balance sheet. So it's a $4 billion extra setback, but it is on a balance sheet of a couple of $100 billion.
But your initial surplus track was for a surplus of $1 billion in the first year of surplus, so surely that would push this back a year or two.
Well, our initial estimates are that it doesn't, but just because this is a one-off event, it doesn't affect the next couple of years of operating balance. But look, it does underline the vulnerability we have. Right, we have reasonably fast rising government debt, which we're getting on top of. We've got high levels of overseas debt, and this is an extra cost we're going to have to carry. So it makes us a bit more vulnerable today than we were before we knew this number.
Doesn't it expose us to increased cost of borrowing? Like, I mean, are you not concerned the credit rating agencies today are going to look at this and be really concerned with that?
Well, you're best to talk to them about it. When you weigh it up, don't you? On the one hand, it's a one-off. On the other hand, it is a bit of a setback when we were making significant progress.
You say this might delay the rebuilding of Christchurch, but presumably you've got priorities when it comes to that, and there might be some of those things that are nice to have. Won't some of those perhaps be put back a bit further given this?
No, I think the essentials are the infrastructure spends in the I suppose you say the life support type things, transport, sewerage, water, wastewater. Those things will progress, obviously. The sort of things that you might be talking about would be some of the things that are in the proposed CBD plan, but they were always capable of being funded by the council. They've made that clear. It's a matter of whether the government wanted to hasten those things. So no necessity for any particular decision about that at this time.
You're going to London, is it? To meet with these reinsurance companies. Is that right?
Yeah, London and an event called the Reinsurance Rendezvous September, which is in Monaco, which it's an interesting place to have to go to, but it gets them all in one place at one time.
And
Yes.
What are you going to tell these guys who aren't presumably going to be terribly thrilled about showing out more money?
Well, I think they know what their exposures are because they're contracted in. So those companies that are reinsuring private insurers already, I think, will understand from their private insurance clients that the size of the residential damage is bigger than expected or bigger than first assessed. But really the message we're taking is that if you look at insurance as a risk-based industry, the way it becomes profitable is if you de-risk. So everything the government is doing is about trying to de-risk the earthquake damage that could occur in the future. So we do know a lot about the seismology of the land in Christchurch. We will know from that the sort of treatment we need to give to foundations for buildings and building codes going forward. We've decided that some land is not suitable for immediate rebuilding and may not be for many years to come. So we've done that buyout exercise. It means that new houses will be built on stronger land to higher codes, further de-risking. And then I think it's a matter of them understanding that we do have a dynamic economy that still operates in Canterbury. It's a $27–30 billion economy, which is showing good signs of staying stable. So the long-term prospects for a risk-based business in Canterbury are better than perhaps some might initially think.